I'm Zoe Delahunty-Light, and Baldur's Gate 3 still has me firmly in its grasp a year after its release. I'm currently on my Evil tab, and I think I should be a little bit worried about how much I'm enjoying it. With patch 7 coming out in September, there's the distinct, very likely possibility I'll enjoy being Evil even more, as there are a ton of new cinematics for Evil playthroughs in general, as well as tweaks to combat, new ways to include honor mode mechanics, and far more. So much, in fact, that I've decided to make this video to bring you up to speed about what the September patch 7 has in store for us Baldurians. Spoiler warning, by the way, there are going to be details about Act 3 and the final battle in this video, so if you haven't made it that far, beware. I would argue the biggest addition to Baldur's Gate 3 is Larian's very own mod manager, made to allow the community to upload mods which you can browse, install and use. But if you want to continue using Nexus mods, then that's still an option. This Larian mod manager doesn't prevent the use of third-party mod managers, and there are no plans to restrict modding to the official mod manager either. The mod toolkit lets you create new content galore. This includes equipment, weapons, armor, miscellaneous items, and consumables. Then, for us passion for fashion brats, there's cosmetics like hair, beards, and other textures, as well as dice skins and restyling/adding extensions to the Baldur's Gate 3 UI. Aside from cosmetic improvements, the toolkit also supports creating new classes and subclasses, and editing existing ones to alter abilities, powers, and skills assigned to each class/subclass. Races are yours to tinker with, including changing the overall appearance of the presets in question, and tailoring the powers and abilities each race starts with. There are the usual suspects too, like mods that edit or improve gameplay, kind of like the Skyrim unofficial patch, I assume, though hopefully not that direly needed. Split screen has been dolled up, so now, when you're close to your split screen partner, the two halves of the screen will blend together so you don't have that ugly partition between the two when it's not really necessary. Honor mode combat has been expanded, so now specific enemies have more legendary actions to bring you even closer to the brink of death. Notable ones include Draw Ragslin, who can now recruit the spiders in the spider pit using a spell called Arachnid Compulsion, so they can fight as a united front against you. Before this patch, Draw Ragslin would be set upon by the spiders, which doesn't really make sense, as in the Emerald Grove raid, the spiders fight on the same side as the goblins, and with Minthara being a Lolth-sworn drow, her being affiliated with the spiders makes sense. Other enemies who stand an even greater chance of annihilating you in honor mode, thanks to those bonus legendary actions, include the Bullet, Malus Thorm, Spectators, Cry Skarn, Cry Hrak, and Taris. I'll let you discover those by yourselves, as they are less lore-related than Draw Ragslin. Full details are in the patch notes on Steam if curiosity gets the better of you though. Gale and his appetite for my magic items is a bit of a pain, especially when, after denying him once, count it, once, he left my party for good. A bit of an overreaction if you ask me. Patch 7 expands the Donate Magic Items panel to show items in your Traveller's Chest, found in your camp, which is personally where I store the items I don't really need, so this is heaven sent. Small note, but the word for washing yourself with soap has been changed from consume to use. No more washing your mouth out with soap for you, no matter how much you swear. On to the tweaks made to gameplay. Honor mode now isn't just for honor mode. You can start a custom game and add honor mode mechanics to it without going through the whole honor mode itself. In the rule set menu, you'll be able to select honor mechanics, which bring the more intense combat mechanics to your game, just like those new legendary actions I mentioned a minute ago. Honor mode isn't for the faint of heart, so this optional combat is a great way to challenge yourself without the fear of permadeath and no limited actions. This is a small change, but one that makes me especially happy. When you're selecting camp supplies for a long rest and choose a stack of food, only what you need to get up to 40 will be selected instead of the entire stack. And finally, Larian has also said that a quote, certain bard, unquote, can join the party as a controllable character, temporarily. About damn time, but please, let us have Alfira for just a bit longer, I beg. Changes are coming to the camp itself too, with Astarion and Lysel getting more idle animations, Minsk doing some Tai Chi, and Karlak brushing only the side of her head that actually has hair, as opposed to the shaved side. When you're smooching Shadowheart on the Sharon path and have a large body type or are Dragonborn, you'll also notice some improved neck kisses. Beautiful. More dialogue in general has been added to Baldur's Gate 3 with patch 7, in particular with Dirge, specifically more dialogue options and narrator lines. Will also gets more smooches too, and you'll get a new way to say hello to Will if he's your lover boy in Act 3, yet also if he really doesn't approve of you. Speaking of smooches, we get a new facial animation for Tav during certain kissing cinematics, namely for the Ascended Astarion. Bearing in mind how Ascended Astarion acts, I'm sure you can predict how Tav responds to his particularly controlling way of showing affection. Will, along with all your other companions, will be more sympathetic to Astarion when he has to flee from the sun, and Karlak will now get distraught if she finds Dammon deceased after he revealed he's able to help her in her engine conundrum. Lastly, Minthara will now most definitely have something to say to you upon meeting you at Moonrise if you knock her out instead of killing her outright in Act 1. I can't imagine it's going to be anything nice. Reactivity, as Larian puts it, has been improved upon too, so the clerics of Lathander at last recognizing his symbol on a Lathandarian amulet, plus Lysel will now wait a little bit longer for you at the site of her recruitment if you tell her you'll be back. Patient Queen. Performance has been tweaked as well, which will be most apparent in areas with lots of NPCs like the lower city, which is a saving grace for my poor Steam Deck when it tries to set itself on fire during its loading up Act 3. And finally, Patch 7 for Baldur's Gate 3 introduces new cinematics for evil playthroughs, so many in fact that they have their own name, Evil Endings. These are for Avatar origin characters Tav and Dirge, and Larian has remained enigmatic about where these cinematics are to be found, so it's up to us to discover them on our own. There's many more updates to come for Baldur's Gate 3, so patch 7 is by far not the last patch, and Larian have said that it's going to include crossplay and photo mode for sure, though there are no details about when we should expect those features to come out. And there you go, all done. That is what's going to be in Baldur's Gate 3's 7th patch in September 2024. We have plenty more videos about Baldur's Gate 3 on the channel, made by yours truly, Zoe Delahunty-Light, but let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you want to see from me. I'm thinking some lore videos, though that is a gargantuan task, but one that I am a sucker for. Lastly, feel free to subscribe to Eurogamer and drop a like on this video, and thanks so much for choosing to spend your time with me. Now, I am going to go and steel myself for an Ascended Astarion unredeemed Dirge run. Time to turn off my guilt. Pray for me. I'll see you next time, folks.